So you want to R-Warp on Bunker 2, huh? Well, you want to come to my favourite level frigate in order to practice. So this is like, it's easier to set up this warp, but the distance is further. So you're actually going to learn to do it properly. Yeah, so the R-Warp is very simple to understand, really. It's very much the same idea behind R-Leads. Um, so when you're standing here, um, there's my central position, right? There's the finish position for leaning right. And in that first step that I made, I probably actually made it like all the way to here or something. So in one um, frame, I seem to have drifted. uh, in one frame, I've moved quite a long way. And that's the general idea. But the the important thing to see even visually is that's actually not very far. So the same as when are leaning some, grenade or bug or something. Um, the way to throw further is to go from being all the way in leaning left and then head towards the position where you lean right. Yeah, so the only real trick to the old warp is that when we're leaning left, we're going to want to be against the gap which is on our right. Um, so from a static point of view, it seems like we might have a problem because if I lean left, well, I'm no longer against the object. So the trick is that when you go into a lean, you don't lose all your momentum. So if I just run along and lean, you can see at the end of that, I was still like drifting. So this is how the R-Warp works, is you're going to be holding right strafe, and then the moment you bring up the R-aimer, which will lose you actually your sliding momentum, um, you're going to lean left, like so. So now I'm in a left lean, um, but the position it kind of thinks I'm in this lean, like the center of my lean, is like in there somewhere. So when I go into right lean now, it's going to be repeatedly, and this is an important thing, repeatedly attempting to move me quite a long way to the right. So I think my angle looks slightly off, so it may not work. Oh, okay, I got away with it. Yeah, and so on through. Here right now, I'm just holding C right. And then all I'm going to do is press lean and left at the same time. But that's the crucial thing. This is what you'll do wrong when you fail here, is you won't press them at the same time, which I didn't there. I pressed lean just before I pressed C left. So what's happened is that I pressed lean. I started losing my actual sliding momentum. Although I was trying to lean right, I was losing my sliding momentum. And then when I did lean left, that momentum has not carried me all the way back to the pipes. So this is doomed now. I could wiggle about however much I want. There's just no way here on frigate that I'm getting through. And occasionally on P2, something like this, you might get away with it because the distance that you're trying to cover isn't so good, isn't so far rather. Yeah, so if you consider this position, I've set it up correctly. I was nice and close when I started leaning right, and the reason I'm not going through is because I'm going through the wrong angle here. So I want to just twist to the right, and then I'm going to pop through. Ta-da! So that's all there is to it, is you get nice and tight, you build up your right momentum, you lean left. I'm still holding C right just because left overrides right. Um, I can see from that visually, I definitely pressed lean and left on the same frame because I like shot back into this gap. So I'm really nice and tight to the pipes. The angle looks okay. I might have to turn it left slightly, but I don't think so. So I'll let go of C left, and through I go. That's all there is to it. Here, on for I go. That's perfect. Yeah, it's going through all day. All day. I think I'm still touching them, so yep, still fine. And I recommend you come here and be able to reliably go back and forward, back and forward. And if you can't, like that, you should know what's wrong with it. Like there, I leant badly. That's fine. Through I go. You've got the fundamentals down, you know, you understand you've got to be really close after you lean left, and that you've got to set the right angle, you know. That's all there is to it, but you're well practiced at that. So the difference here is this gap, we can't sort of settle into it. And you might think that's not true because, you know, this door is inset. So look at this, here I am. Am I not settled into the gap? Well, not really, because this gap that we see here, looking at it at this angle, we can only just get through it if we're very, very, very snug in the corner there. Because the gap here actually is like a channel. You know, this door is got some thickness to it. This wall has some thickness to it. So the gap there is a channel, and the channel runs in this direction. So that's the direction we want to go through, because looking at it from this angle, the channel is nice and wide, and we'll be able to adjust ourselves easily to get through it. Looking at it from this angle, settled nicely into the corner here, which is easy to do if you've not got any time pressure. The channel is actually still very, very narrow, and if I'm like not perfectly into the corner, there may actually be no channel at all for me to head through, you see. So literally from this position, a warp might not be possible. So the nice trick, there's a really nice setup on this door. So we're gonna be here, and we're gonna lean left, right? But there's just one small little change, which is that we're going to add a little bit of upward momentum. So if you see when I do that left lean, there's a few frames, right, that I'm away from the door. And during those few frames, the upward momentum that we set before we lean is going to just let us drift up a bit. And so we're going to go from being in the corner here to actually being level with the channel like this, in this sort of position. This sort of position would be fantastic to lean in. Like we're kind of right in the middle of the channel, so there's probably quite a range of angles which would work. So if we're slightly high on the channel, this would be too high. You angle yourself down, and if you find yourself a little bit short, you try and angle yourself upwards. So you can do it against the wall. You know, this is what I used to call like the slow way of doing it, but it's so slow no one does it now. So you're going to just sit here holding C right. Then what I'll do is I'll tap C up, and after I release it, I've got to time my lean left. So I'm going to tap C up and lean. There I've pressed C left and lean pretty much together. I think it looked like I came back in reasonably quickly, but it was a bit late after I let go of C up because I've not really got a lot of upward momentum. I'd like to be a touch higher than this, but it's completely doable. I might even lean. So now I'm still holding C left, C right, and lean. It might even work when I just let go of C left. But if not, I will just turn ever so slightly left. And through I go, you see. Because I was a bit like a bit low on the channel. So I just angle myself up a little bit. And then I've got a line through the channel. yeah, so you can do those. That's probably it's probably quite sensible to do a few of these to get yourself familiar. Um, but yeah, it's just sort of by feel, you know. So I'm just holding C right, press the up lean. That's nearly perfect. I'm a touch high, so I'll let go of C left. Okay, yep. I was still, I was in like the top of the channel, um, but I didn't even have to twist to get through, you know. So when you've got yourself comfortable with this, where I'm holding C right, press C up, lean, that's pretty poor, but I may still get away with it. See, this is why B2 is so much more forgiving, you see, than frigate. And it's why I think you really should go and practice on frigate first. For the actual run, um, you're going to want to be holding C right throughout. The input feels very strange to start with. You really are. It even gave me a headache, I swear, trying to like remember what to press when. Um, so the first step in sort of setting it up when it feels so strange to yourself is learn to just pin C right. You're holding C right for the whole process. You're holding it when you lean left because left overrides right. You're holding it when you lean right, naturally, and when you get to the other side and let go of lean, you're wanting to go get that key anyway. So you want C right. So everywhere, um, just pin C right. And then at the start, you're going to want to hold C up because we want to move ourselves towards that door. And then you're going to be angling yourself, looking down and angling yourself here somewhere. But before you arrive at this angle, you're going to want to have let go of C up. It will help you to actually drift right into this corner. And then at that point, it's the same um, concepts. There's the same difficulty. So all you've got to do is find the right timing for that lean left compared to when you let go of C up. So that's all there is to it. Technically, I suppose, is like rough position, angle, uh, releasing C up so that you don't end up over here, timing the lean to the left, and pressing lean and left at the same time. So I suppose that's 5 steps. Maybe it sounds like a lot. Like I say, it gave me a splitting headache when I was first trying to do it, but like it's not tricky once you get it down. So we'll give it a go. Bam. So that was far from perfect, but it worked. So try again. Kind of warmed up with this now. At the start of recording, I was dreadful. Okay. Again, far from perfect. Very different, but still I got away with it. So you can see how you'd learn sort of bad practices. Um, is because you can get away with all sorts of shit on B2 itself. Oh, that was very nice, really nice. Um, Everything about that looked pretty much perfect. I seemed to do it very fast. Um, I had nice position here. My angle was like perfectly parallel. Um, yeah, I don't think I can beat that. I'm just carrying on now until I fail one, so that's 3 now. Obviously, you wouldn't be cutting first cinema, but just ease. Okay, let go of C up too soon. I didn't seem to sort of settle. I wasn't really in the corner here, so I had to do a bit of thinking on my feet, and I just went for the lean. And I was like behind. I was actually too low. But twist a little bit and get away with it. So that's 4 in a row. See how many I can do. Oh, that looks bad. Okay, Miracle one, that one, absolute miracle. Um, so I was far too low. So I mean, credit to me, I knew to just left. I mean, it's not, the point is that's obvious. Um, but the angle I've ended up going through the channel was very narrow, so I'm very lucky to have got through. That is a bad warp, you know. And again, I'll say it again, this is why you should practice on frigate, because a bad warp on frigate doesn't go through. I'm not sure why I'm locking myself back in each time. So that's 5 in a row with a lot of luck. A lot of luck. Oh, that's dreadful. Still did it. That was very similar to the previous one. I think I'm just letting go of C up too soon. But 6 in a row with some miracles. That's nicer. Yeah, needed adjustment, but I was more confident from the position I arrived in. I was like, okay, it is going to work at some angle, you know. Of course, the bit like I'm completely avoiding here is bringing in the slap as well, which will spin your head. But I want to keep this record going, so I'm on 7 now, I think, or 6. Let's say it was 7. Let's call that 8. So 8 in a row. And this is first take, by the way, just for the record. 9 in a row. I was never this consistent. 10 in a row. I may actually have to give up before I fail one. That one was really nice as well. Oh, we failed. Yes. Excellent. Excellent. Um, what exactly did I do wrong? I'm not quite sure how I ended up missing that gap. It may have just been with slightly different lag, because like I seem to just turn left quicker. Um, on my controller, and it'll vary, you know, by your controller. I'm initially I'm holding like um, you know, like the up left notch, but then down ever so slightly. So it might just be there that the down ever so slightly I overdid a little bit. So I turned and I was trying to avoid ending up in like a position like this, but rather than ending up in a position like this, I ended up like here somewhere. So I never got stuck in that gap back there. Um, and you know, at this point, I was screwed. So that was 10 in a row, I think. Maybe 9. I'm not quite sure. We'll say it was 10. Um, but yeah, you should be hitting, you know, that kind of consistency or even higher. Um, but when you bring the slap in, it will start to annoy you. So even for 21, you could warp and then slap. I mean, I have 22 at the moment, and I've not actually put a great deal of time into the level. Um, maybe like 5 hours or something. Um, so maybe you can go through and then slap. He's quite a bitch to slap. Um, but I remember what I used to do, which wasn't too tight, um, is when I leant left, I also pressed Z, which seemed to help. Oh, wait, pressed A, because I'm in 1.4. But you know, work that out by yourself or refer to more recent guidance. Um, the thing I'm trying to focus on here is actually doing the R warpy bit. So work the slap out for yourself. You know, once you've got all these inputs down, try and think to yourself, okay, now I've got to bring a slap in. So for 20, as I understand it, you'll want to be holding slap from the start, because the slap actually takes quite a while to come out, because you start with like no weapon and then you draw the slapper, and then once you've drawn the slapper, you start bringing the slap down on this geezer's head. Boom. But for 21, you can miss him twice. You can get him third slap. Basically, as long as you make that door closing, then you're fine for pace. But yeah, I'll keep myself to just talking about the R warp here, not actually about the rest of the strat. So just look at it around and play about with it. And you've all got brains, so. Ted out.